Hello and welcome. I'm Johnny B.
I'm the Restless Kaiser.
Together, we are Modelling for Advantage. You want me to take lead on this?
Yeah, I'm a bit hoarse today, if you don't mind, John. I'd be grateful for that.
Okay. Right, so today is a bit of a tanks update.
Tanks!
I think we mentioned a little while ago, we want to move theatres. We've done a bit of tanks modelling, haven't we?
Yep.
We liked it. I loved it. I really enjoyed that. It was my first introduction to the world of tanks, as it were.
Yeah.
And then you come up with, why don't we just mix it up a bit?
Yeah.
We've been playing a bit of bolt action, so we're in a World War II theatre there.
Yeah.
And we thought, why don't we let's do a little bit of tanks in the desert.
Let's do a bit of tanks in the desert. So the thinking was not just to change war, as it were, but to change theatre. The games were visually very different.
Definitely, that's the purpose.
Absolutely.
So we're doing WW2 and we're going to do the Desert War. Now, Michael has kindly picked up this beauty.
El Alamein starter set.
El Alamein starter set. Which hopefully we will be doing an unboxing because I would really like to see what's in there.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is actually this is for Flames of War, not tanks.
Yes.
Yeah. So just as a note for tanks players, this is fantastic value in terms of the tanks that you're going to get in it, and this is going to provide the core of our forces.
The cards and stuff.
It's not got stat cards,
right?
So that's why we got some separate boxes. So we got this.
That's going to be the core of it, as you say, value for money there.
This is going to be our theatre. Yeah, even some cardboard scenery.
We got some Germans. We got a few more extra German bits.
We needed the rules though, didn't we, John?
Oh, we do need the rules.
Yeah, we needed to get, obviously...
Oh, look, it's tanks. World War II Skirmish game.
Panther versus Sherman. Hey.
Now, this feels heavier than that one.
Yeah.
Chunky ass box.
Yeah, there's a lot of cardboard in here.
So this one is going to give us the tanks rules plus the stats that we need to play the WW2.
Many of the stats, probably the theatre we've picked. This is aimed at late war, World War II,
right?
Like Panther versus Sherman. So this has got Sherman vibes and Panthers and things like that in it. It doesn't have much in the way of Crusaders and so forth, which is why, on top of all of this, we needed to get.
Yeah.
What else did we get, John?
A whole heap of stuff. Let's look at the German stuff first. Got a Panzer IV long. We like it long.
Panzer IV long. For you sports fans out there, you know the Panzer IV, the short and long versions, are very, very different. That's about the gun size.
Okay.
So we've got a German Panzer IV, yeah.
Second German is a Panzer III.
Ooh, the Panzer III.
Which looks
in the early war, the Panzer III was the mainstay. It was the main battle tank of the German army.
This is the main one, is it?
That's the main
Panzer
one.
III.
Yeah. Originally, the Panzer IV was a support vehicle with a howitzer.
Really?
Yeah, but when we get to unboxing, we'll have a look at the kits. Yeah.
And then it looks like you picked up a few bits of the old Allied British stuff.
Indeed, some British stuff.
So we have a Sherman 2, which is great.
So the Sherman 2 is the British name for the M4A1.
So this is the standard.
This is the
off-the-line
early,
Sherman, the one that catches fire and everything.
Pretty much, yeah. I think a lot of this, a lot of those early ones did go to Britain because America wasn't in the war yet.
Ah, they were making us some stuff.
They were making us good
dudes.
Stuff. Because when you start looking at these other vehicles, the British ones were pants. No, this is another American one.
This is a Grant. It's an interesting... I really like the design of the Grant and Lee. Which one? I'm guessing the Grant's the earlier one.
The Grant... no, one is the British nickname and one is the American nickname.
Okay.
They're both Civil War generals. So the Grant, another interesting tank because
it's a crazy design.
It's an American attempt to design a medium tank, but really before people had thoroughly grasped the way that battle tanks were going to work.
Right.
Which is why it's got this massive 75mm gun in the hull, which is really for firing HE.
And then a tiny
and it's on a side sponsor at the front, really weird. And then you've got a 37mm anti-tank gun on the top.
That's an odd position. I love the aesthetic.
Well,
the look
but
of the
at the time, 37mm anti-tank gun is still quite good enough for the time that the vehicle was developed. But it was just such a shame to have this 75mm gun in such a poor mounting.
Yeah.
But the real problem with the Grant was the high silhouette.
Yeah, I mean that...
In terms of hitting it, it's a really big target.
It just flopped down. It's got a massive height on it. Yeah. When you compare it to the likes of...
So, and this is why we needed American tanks.
A Crusader.
So the Crusader is the British cruiser tank that comes in this box here. And the cruiser tanks were a terrible idea.
This looks very similar to the Cromwells that I've got in.
Right. So the Cromwell is
or
yes and no. So the British enter the war with a tank doctrine very different from the German tank doctrine. The Germans believe in a kind of concentration of combined arms. Everything is mechanised and motorised within a panzer formation, but there's artillery, there's infantry.
Everything to back it up.
Everything to back it up. Indeed, in the desert, when German tanks encountered British tanks, the British tanks were trained to fire on the move. I say trained.
They were told. They were told
to fire on the move. And you just miss. The Germans, if they encounter British tanks in the open, generally would decoy the British tanks onto their own anti-tank gun line.
Wow.
They would, fight in retreat.
Did we not have infantry and stuff supporting ours?
No.
We were just.
We had tank brigades. You're talking about maybe a couple of companies, maybe a battalion for 500-600 tanks, whereas the Germans had 200 tanks and 1,500 riflemen and artillery and all the rest of it. So we had the other bits, but in much smaller proportions.
Just dispersed as well.
We believed in cruiser tanks were like cavalry.
Punch a hole.
Cavalry.
Jobs are good. Wow. Okay.
But to do that role, they needed to be fast, and to be fast, they needed to be light, and to be light, they had no armor.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, real problem.
Okay.
And firing on the move, they just weren't hitting anything. But
it looked good though, right?
Did look good. The Cromwell, as you mentioned it, is a very late war British tank, which is an evolution through the process. Having had these better American medium tanks like the Sherman,
right.
The Cromwell's a much more capable tank, but still built to be fast. They are used a little bit, but it doesn't really come into force.
Not massive.
They're not large numbers
of them. They didn't win the war, like.
The war had been won by the time Cromwell was being deployed. But speed is armour in some respects, and the Cromwells were really fast enough. But the whole of the tank doctrine, they didn't try and engage German tanks frontally in the same way at that point, and certainly not anti-tank gun lines.
It had changed somewhat.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're not going to focus on that bit.
No.
We're going to focus on the desert, and I'm going to charge it in lots. And they're all slipping around. I'm going to charge it in lots. I think it's really sad, but I might actually, because I'm yet to decide what tanks I'm going to take.
I'm giving John the choice.
This project, so I'm going to make a decision right here, and it's a tough one because I kind of fancy the Germans just to be different.
Yeah.
So I've done the British.
You've got a bolt action British.
Bolt action British. So I've done that before.
Yeah.
So I might take the Germans.
You might take the Germans, and
how do you feel about that?
You potentially have Italian allies.
I love some Italians.
You'd love a bit of Italian, wouldn't you? Eh? Potentially have some Italian allies.
Yes, mate. We'll do that.
So you think you're going to go German?
I think, mix it up. I think it would be good to have you being all British if we do some tank reports as well. You've got to dress up.
Got to dress up.
Not that you're going to be on
Get a pipe.
Get your pipe. Be on there. Be the Brits. I think that's what I'm going to do.
But that's not all, though.
What I'm going to do that.
Because here, as I mentioned, this is a big project.
So we've got the tanks.
There's the tanks.
We've got the rules. We need a bloody board.
So what this on this big pile of bubble wrap is...
It looks like a bit of wood, mate.
Is a mountain of MDF you'll see in there. And I don't want to unpack it because there'll be just bits everywhere. That is TT Combat's modular gaming board.
Right. You're not fussed about the bubble wrap, are you?
I want it to stay all together, John. Until I start building it.
Yeah.
That's why.
I'm just trying to do it. Anyway, TT Combat.
So TT Combat, it's an MDF set of square tiles. There's 16 of them. But I thought that the idea is that I'll have a go at building this. I've built a modular terrain board before with foam.
It's laser cut. I can confirm that.
You can smell. I built a foam one for use in a games club, and the problem with it is over time foam tiles start to get damaged.
They do wear. Are we talking polystyrene?
We're talking about the dense, the blue stuff, the 2-inch blue stuff.
Oh, the blue stuff. Yeah, but that's soft.
Yeah. Well, given 10 years in a war games club, it starts to look quite shabby and it doesn't fit together anymore. So let's try it with the MDF tiles.
Okay.
The desert's going to be quite plain anyway.
Well, that's a bonus because this looks quite plain.
And storage is a real problem. But these will go in those little foot square shelving cupboards, you know, with the little canvas square bags.
Yeah.
You put your shoes and crap like that from your bedroom.
You can just stack them all in.
Stack them all in, yeah.
And these got a little...
They've got a little lip
frame
on them, yeah, little frame. Yeah, it's not just a square of MDF.
It's not just literally... Because that's what I was thinking it was.
I'm worried that it might be too noisy. They're rolling dice on and stuff.
Well, we've got a little dice tray.
Quite scratchy. So. But this is only like 35 quid. So I thought we could build a board for tanks,
right?
See how it goes, and then look at doing Flames of War in the desert, depending on how it takes us. But I think we should start with this. I think we'll do a demo game with the out the box, because I've already got these tanks already painted.
Cheat. You're not going to tell them that. But it's fine.
This is not the first time I've bought this box.
It's true. It's such good value. And you got this one for a steal, didn't you, really?
Yeah.
You didn't legitimately steal it. You got a good price on this box set.
So, those are the plans for tanks. We've got more coming up for the tanks modern though. We've got the East Germans.
Yes, you just finished
those just finished up 100 points. Yeah, you can check that up on the Facebook. I don't know whether I should do like East German Rebellion, fight the Soviet tank horde.
Yeah.
I don't think, because I don't really want to face all the T-72s.
Again?
T-64s.
Yeah. You love them. How about you use the T-64s and I mix it up and do the other dudes?
Don't know about that.
No.
Anyway,
look,
that was our little update on tanks. There's a lot coming in the future. I know at the moment you're kind of being fed a diet of unboxings, but there are new games and new content.
And new unboxings.
and quite a lot of unboxings, but they're going to be spread out over a long period of time.
Here's our hoping.
All right, that was us.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you for watching. Bye. Yeah, John, I thought, you want
me to take lead?
I'm a bit croaky.
You bell end. Sorry. Apologies.
It's just if he's in the first 2 minutes of the video, John. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. Bell end, take 2. That can go at the end.
Start again?
I think so.